Hello, followers of Christ. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm a little excited. As you can see, I'm a little bit cheesy because God shared a message with me today. The Holy Spirit came and struck me. And so I want to share that with you. But I have to give you a little bit backstory about it so that you can fully grasp what the message is. And I really hope this blesses someone. So, y'all know about my work history situation or whatever. And today something happened at work, and God revealed to me that I was in a no-win-win situation. And he reminded me how he kept telling me to stop looking for stuff. Stop looking for stuff. You know, in the beginning, I honestly thought that he was talking about stop looking for things that go wrong in my life. Stop looking for things, stop focusing on the bad. Y'all know, because that's what I've been telling y'all. Don't focus on the bad. Don't focus on the bad. No, he was being very literal with me in that position at work, because part of my job is to reconcile. That is the primary focus of my job, is to reconcile things that are wrong. And so, for me, I thought that meant I had to go seek and find the problem. But God brought it to my attention. I went back and had to read the mandate, what's required of my job, and it says specifically, once you are made aware, you are to reconcile. Not when you go find it, not when you dig a hole for it, not when you start asking and poking and prying, but when you're made aware. So this whole time I've been on this job, I've been going through all this situation, stressing out, frustrated about things not going right, policies not being followed accordingly, me having to realign everybody, get everybody back in order, because I would go looking for stuff, y'all, because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. No. I'm supposed to, when made aware of a situation, correct the situation and move forward. Why is that important? Why is it? Because the amount of stress that I was putting on myself, physical, mental health wise, from going and finding problems to fix, was hindering me. It was hindering me moving forward. It was putting a big divide in my work. And it's like, I'm getting frustrated, because it's like every day I come in here, I find a problem. Well, guess what? After today, I ain't looking for no more problems. If they don't bring them to me, I ain't finna go look for them. Because when you go look for things, you are going to find them. Not everything is meant for you to find. Not saying it should be hidden, but it's not always ordered for you to find. So why is that important on my walk with Christ? When you're in a position to where God is blessing you and God starts overflowing your cup, because that's where I was. I was living in the overflow of life. Well, somewhere along the lines, I started looking for cups to pour into. I started finding empty cups, and I started taking my cup, pouring into other cups. I'm so busy pouring into everybody else's cup, not realizing I'm emptying out my own cup. Not only am I busy pouring into other cups, emptying my own cup, my cup ain't sitting still long enough for God to refill it. See, when you're dealing with the overflow of Christ, you don't have to worry about pouring into, because when that overflow, think about it, when you sit a cup on the table and you start pouring it, it starts pouring out. What happens with the overflow? It flows out of the cup and goes in a direction, falls left to right. So it's going to reach whoever it needs to reach. It's going to pour into whoever it needs to pour. It don't need my help. I don't need to move or position myself in a manner that God has not put me in order to bless others. That's one of the things that I myself has struggled with. When I get blessed, I'm automatically looking for somebody blessed, and come to find out, there has been a possibility that I have been blessing the wrong people. I have been pouring into the wrong people, because when you bless others, the Bible says when you bless others, God bless you. But you got to be careful. You have to bless the ones that God has ordered you to bless, because that's where the blessing comes back at. It has to be that person that has been aligned for that blessing. You have been giving away other people, and you talking about me, been giving away other people blessings, thinking I'm blessing somebody, but I'm actually giving away blessings to the wrong people, which has put me in a position to not be blessed. Not saying that I'm complaining or anything about it, but it was an eye opener for me. It helped me to realize that when God says that your cup will overflow, you got to let Him control the overflow. The surplus in your life is not meant for you to orchestrate, because when you start orchestrating, you're not going to scoop up the overflow. You're going to move your actual cup out of position to receive the blessing. Now you've stopped it for everybody, including yourself, because you're so anxious to move forward. You see, you're not used to being blessed. You're not used to having a surplus. You're not used to being in a position where you want for nothing. So you go and you try to help others, and you try to be there, and you try to do things and try to do right, but you're missing the mark. You've misplaced yourself, and you've put yourself back in a position to where now you're empty, and now you're trying to refill, but you're out of position. You done moved all the way down to the other side of the table. That's not where your blessing was coming from. That's not where your cup was getting filled at. Your cup was getting filled back here. Down here on this end, on that end over there where you started at, where you should have been, where your seat was reserved for you, where you were sitting at, where you should have stayed when you was at the table, but you want to get up and try to help serve other people. That's not what He had you there for. You were doing perfectly fine when your cup was overflowing, because that overflow is going to come, and it's going to pour right where it needs to pour. It's going to hit every cup that it needs to help, according to God's word. Let Him control your overflow. It's what we're coming down to. The overflow is real. It is something I have witnessed for myself. It is something that I have experienced. But what I didn't know, they always say when people get money that ain't never had money, they don't know how to use the money. I was one of them people. When God would bless me, and I'm not just talking about financially, I'm talking about health-wise. I'm talking about mental wise. When I had peace of mind, I would go out here and start having conversations with people, and then they concerns became my concerns, to the point now I'm stressed about other people's stress, trying to figure out, stressing out how to help them. But God didn't send me that way. So now I have messed up my overflow of peace. I was healthy. Never had a bad blood work in my life. But then I started going out here and I'm doing things for other people, to the point where I'm not going to the doctor like I'm supposed to. Then when I finally, my body starts breaking down and I do start going to the doctor, I'm still not paying attention because I'm too busy trying to make sure this person ain't sick, this person ain't hungry, this and that. And now my health is in danger, because I'm out here, I'm healthy and fit. Well, since I'm healthy and fit, I need to go help them. Well, God didn't send me that way. He didn't send me to help them. I put myself in a position to be out of line with God's overflow, which has caused me to miss out on my blessings. You have to be careful about who you bless. And the sad part is, I knew this lesson because I've taught this to my kids. They've always asked me the question, Mama, what would you do if you see a homeless person on the side of the road asking for money with a sign up? I said, if God moves me, then I move. I said, because I, for one, don't know that person's story. I, for one, don't know what they've gone through. So I don't just go out and just do things just because it's there. And it's like, oh, well, no, God has to shift and move me to say, you need to go bless this person. Well, I haven't been moving and operating the way I've told my children to operate. But God brought that thing right back around today. And He has opened my eyes and shown me where I have misplaced myself. And He's like, I need you to come back to this side of the table. I need you to get back in your seat. I need you to sit back down, and I need you to accept the blessings. Don't be ashamed. Don't be upset because you're sitting at a table where I am filling your cup to the point where you have more than what you need. You got about 5 or 6 cups and they all overflowing, and the person down on the other end cup look a little dry. That ain't on you. That's for me to decide when that cup fills up. See, when God gives you a seat at the table, and he assigns you your your duty, your responsibility, your obligation, and you be obedient, and he starts blessing you, blessing you, blessing you. Don't feel guilty because you've done everything that God has allowed. And when I say don't feel guilty, it's because what happens when we be obedient, God blesses us, and we do it again, we repeat that cycle. We get into that habit. We create a new way of life. We start practicing that mandate of obedience, discipline, dedication, and God will continue. And while we practicing everything we practicing, he blessing. He's saying, yeah, I told you that's what I was going to do. So I'm going to keep doing it. You keep following me. I'm going to keep blessing you. We do it. We do it. But then we get to that point where the overflow starts to show up. We start feeling guilty. We start feeling bad about having things that others don't have. And we immediately say, okay, well, Lord, I want to keep being blessed. So maybe I'm supposed to help them out. We ain't talked to God. We ain't had no conversation with the Lord about this is what he wants me to do. We just go out and do it because we feel bad about sitting over here with all these cups that's full of good health, financial stability, not peace and joy, strong family, healthy kids, successful kids, a home. We got all these cups in front of us. But some of the same people we slept next to in the bed, some of the same people we grew up with, same people we grew on the streets with, they don't have it. So, we go back to that phase of, well, if I come up, you come up. Okay, but wait a minute. Did you come up or did you become obedient? And because of your obedience, that's why you're being blessed. It had nothing to do with you coming up. It had everything to do with you following the plan that God laid before you, and now you're being blessed. And because you're doing the work, God is blessing you. And now you feel bad about it. So you put yourself in that position to say, well, I got extra, so I'm going to help such and such out. And you do that. And then you do it again. Same person, different person. You do it again. You do it again. Well, now you done went from 10 cups to 5 cups. You still an overflow for you. But where's your replenishment? You've blessed them. Where's the replenishment? So now you put yourself in a position to see you're going to keep going. You're going to keep doing. God, it's going to come back to me. God's going to bless me for doing this. God's going to bless me for doing this. And he's like, wait a minute. I bless you for your obedience. The question is, what are you obeying by doing, stepping out of line to go do this to make yourself feel better about having the blessing that I gave you? Sounds to me like you may be a little bit ashamed of me blessing you. And now you're trying to get rid of it. You don't want that light on you. You don't want that attention of what God has placed you at. And I'm speaking from experience because I'm telling you about everything that I've went through and how I felt and how I dealt with my overflow and my surplus. Because here I am again, trying to go through my head like, Lord, I'm doing everything right, but I feel like I'm in a cycle. I've repeated something that I shouldn't have. And we always want to think we did something bad. I ain't going to say wrong. I'm going to say bad because anytime you help someone, that's not a wrong thing to do in our eyes. So I'm going to say bad. We think we did something bad. And when I say did something bad, I'm saying we think we done did something like we may have sinned against God, or we may have been disobedient in the forms of not going to church or doing something on our end, when the truth of the matter is the thing that you think you're doing right is the one thing that you're doing bad. You're doing good, but you're putting the good in the wrong spot. You're giving the blessing that God blessed you with, the overflow that he gave you. Yes, overflow is meant to be shared, but you have to share it with the people that God set it up for, or you are putting yourself in a position to be giving away somebody else's blessing. I'm a strong believer that what God has for you is for you. So if God blessed me with this overflow, that's for me. Who am I to give it away? Who am I to tell God that his gift that he has gave me is no longer good enough for me, and I'm going to give it to somebody else? We got to be careful with that. We have to be in a position to not offend God when he blesses us by trying to not offend others with our blessing. by giving them our blessing. So I really hope this blessed you all. It blessed me. It really opened my eyes up in how on my walk with Christ, like I told you guys, this is a journey. I'm learning. We're learning together. But you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. The overflow is real. But don't move your cup too soon, because you may stop your overflow from trying not to be seen with more than what others have. Sometimes it's meant for you to be seen with that. People need to see where that overflow is coming from. Your cup needs to stay right where it's at. They need to see it. They need to see how God is steady pouring into your life. And if they pay attention long enough, they're going to start seeing that how you sit, how you look, and how you move, and how you act, and how you respond. And then they'll start straightening up. They'll start making sure they're in their seat. They're in their place. They're doing the things that God needs them to do for them to be blessed. They can't sit in your seat. Two people can't sit in the same seat, so they can't come sit in your seat and get what you're getting. But maybe they can straighten up in their seat, see what their seat have the opposite. Like, okay, maybe I need to sit this way. They can adjust their life so that God can start blessing them and allow their cup to overflow and move on, so on and so forth. So I hope that blesses you all. I hope you all have a good night. I look forward to seeing what else God got to show me this week. This is the week where He is really coming down on me, because I've been crying out. So now it's time for me to hear the response. So y'all have a good night, and don't let your overflow go the wrong direction. Stay still. Stand still and just let God pour into you.